two copies.
Okay. I don't know what happened. The cameras moved on me.
The cameras move.
Like that one over there was
Yeah.
facing the board instead of where it should be facing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
That's what happens when you let people mess around.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Jerry. Hey, Jerry. Jerry. Oh, she was the one with the memorial service.
Huh?
With the memorial service for her husband.
Do you know who the custodian was? It a custodian that was here with you, Ernesto?
Yeah, Ernie, I think. Yes,
Ernie?
I think that was his name.
Okay.
Ernesto. He told me to call him Ernie. So.
Okay. Yeah, we don't. We, Sarah, I asked. She wanted his last name.
Oh, I
You know
don't
what
know
his
his
last
last name.
name
I
was.
didn't get that.
And then
Uh,
I tried to contact. I said, I'll just give it to him. He'll know who he is.
yeah. So I know he helped with taking out the trash and all that. So
Yeah. The cameras got moved.
yeah, the some reasons like while I was doing some other stuff, that camera got moved, started facing this way. So I just put it back to where it was. Yeah. I mean, it's fine now.
Don't have me on camera anymore.
No,
Because I
I
want to
don't.
be able to make my faces.
Yeah, now I got it in place. Yeah. Other than that, everything's good. Uh, so, Jerry, is is he gonna be speaking tonight?
Who?
The
Push.
officer.
Yes. But he's going to be speaking during the bond part too.
Okay, so
It's all during the bond vote thing.
Oh, so I
So
don't
where
have to
the
worry about.
presentation is, then they're going to have a speaker. Gina's going to speak, and the school resource officer is going to speak, and I guess Kaylin David's going to
Okay,
speak.
so I'll need to close the presentation and switch over to them.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. So,
Yeah, you probably should have them on camera.
okay, yeah. 'Cause I know once we get to the audience and Tao,
Right.
we don't show them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Oh, yes.
We will reconvene to open session at 6:07 and report that there was no action to be taken in closed session. Government Code 5957.1. Mr. Pete Giles will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure. Would you mind standing with me? Ready, begin. Stands for the issue on its role.
Thank you, Pete. Informational item.
I do not believe we have any information on this.
We'll move on to presentations, requests, proposals, and report.
Sorry, CDW is here with us this evening in a presentation for us.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Chris Carroll with CFW. Very pleased to be here tonight and inviting me. With me here this evening is our CEO, Emilio Flores, and also your council, Mr. Lee. well. So one way to do over here is provide a little bit of background of the fact that the district has been going down towards considering that general obligation bond. And then I know later on in the agenda, you will be considering a bond resolution and just a bit of a look ahead as to what it would look like if you were to adopt that resolution and to call a bond election. But just by way of background, the district has, in the past, voters in the district have approved two bond measures, one in 99, one in 2012. The district has used those dollars to improve facilities, construct school facilities, but needs remain. And recently, the district completed a facilities master plan, which identified the additional needs and also the ability of the district to be able to garner matching funds from the state by passing a local bond, as you've done in the past. Subsequent to that, the district commission and a survey was completed of your community in 2024 to determine their level of support and whether they wanted such a measure. The community came back very supportive of the work the district is doing, the board is doing, the administration and the staff is doing, and they also did acknowledge that you did have a continued need, and that they were willing to invest in an ongoing basis, especially when they learned that it's the intent of the district to be able to issue new bonds only as the old bonds are paid off. So you would not be raising overall tax rates. That was a prudent measure that he. So with that, on the next slide. The next slide is a recap of the chart that you may have seen. We started this conversation a little over a year ago when I got to the board meeting and indicated that the 1999 election, represented by the orange bars on the left, is about to get paid off. All those bonds will have been fully paid off and fully matured in about 2 years. And that does give you the opportunity then to be able to pass a new bond that would have a tax rate that would be within, the estimated tax rate would be within the amount of the old bonds or the rate that voters are already paying. So the goal of this program, once again, will be to issue the new bonds for additional facilities improvements, only as the old bonds are paid off, and over time, as the 2012 election bonds are paid off as well, to come back and backfill those bonds along the way. So you'll notice the tax rate still actually declines over time, even if you were to issue new bonds. Over time, the tax rate that voters would be paying for your school district is anticipated to continue to decline because the new tax rate is limited at $30 for 100,000, which is less than the old tax rate of the 99 bond that have been paid off. The punchline is anticipated that the tax rate will continue to decline. However, in our communications to voters, we're just explaining this simply as a plan of no tax rate increase. So voters know that they're not paying any more. In fact, the tax rates are actually expected to decline. So with that, some of the projects that may need to be funded in your district, you've done a lot of great work this board has done, but there still needs to be additional 21st century improvements to the interiors of your classrooms, modernizing science labs at the middle schools and the TK schools, transforming some of the libraries to a 21st century media center, establishing spaces dedicated to support the district's art and music programs, providing TK classroom, which I know is mandated by the state, improving safety and security at all schools, and providing a local match for your state grants. These projects are listed in resolution as required by Prop 39 and will also be published to the voters so that the voters know what these monies would be spent on if the board were to call an election and if the election was successful. Next slide gives a little bit of information about what the bond program would look like. These are only estimates based on current market values. just like you've done in the past, the bonds would be issued over time. We wouldn't be able to issue the entire 120 million approximately of bonds all at once, and you wouldn't be able to utilize all those funds because it would take you a time to be able to expend those funds. So it's anticipated the first series of bonds issued would be about $48 million, and over the period of a couple of years, 36 and $38 million of bonds would be issued. The board is not voting on those specific amounts tonight. The board is only voting on the total authorization. And over time, the board will make a determination as to when bonds are sold and what amount the bonds are sold. The tax rate, the maximum anticipated tax rate is $30 per 100,000 of assessed valuation. And that's once again a limit that's approved or imposed by Prop 39. And the program, we anticipate that the bonds will be issued over a 6-year period of time. Once again, that could vary a little bit depending on your needs. For the purpose of the analysis, we've estimated interest rates to be 4.7%. Today, interest rates are not at historical lows. That was a couple of years ago. And the board may recall, took advantage of those low interest rates and refinance some debt at that time to save your community substantial amounts of dollars. But it's by no means the highest that interest rates have been either. I think some of us can remember when mortgage rates were in the 12 and 40% range. What we've done for the purpose of the analysis is looked at interest rates, historical interest rates over time, and took an average of that trend. And that's pretty close to where we would be today, about 4.7%. The bonds, when you pay back the bonds, you'll be paying back both principal and interest. In the state of California, about 10 years ago, legislation was passed that limited the repayment of bonds. So every time you borrow money, you cannot have a repayment ratio of more than 4-to-1. 4-to-1 is the maximum acceptable limit. In the case of your bonds, we estimate the repayment to be about 2.4-to-1, quite a bit lower than the acceptable limit, and a lower number is better. What that represents is both the principal and interest that will be paid back over the life of the bonds. And the actual amount of the bonds sold will depend not only on the board's direction, the district's need, but also assessed valuation in your district. If assessed valuation continues to rise at a greater rate than what has been estimated, as it has in the past, you could issue a bond sooner if you needed to. The flip side is if you go into a recession and assessed valuations drop in your district, it could take us longer to be able to access those dollars. But just as we've done in the past, every year we will come to your staff, inform them as to what the district's ability to issue bonds are, and if directed by your staff, we will make presentations of the board. So with that, the possible next steps are the board will consider a resolution a little bit later on this agenda. If the board were to adopt the resolution tonight, the district will then continue to provide factual information about the bond program to the community. That's something that you can legally do as a district. You cannot advocate a position. You cannot ask people to vote for the bond, or as a matter of fact, you can't ask them to vote against the bond either. You can't take an advocacy position, but you can, and many districts want to make sure that the voter is best informed, disseminate factual information. You've been doing some of that already, and that program would continue. In addition to that, just as you've done in the past, the independent campaign committee may be formed. Campaign committee must raise their own funds. They cannot use any district resources. We cannot use any district staff time for the campaign, any district dollars, any district copy machines, or printers. All of that must be fundraised individually by a campaign committee. And the campaign committee is then staffed by volunteers who can, in fact, take an advocacy position. And those folks will send out or may send out mailers, not just saying this is the facts about the bond, but they can go further and say this is the facts about the bond, and we want you to please vote yes as well. The independent campaign committee can take that position. The county then conducts the election. The state election date is November 5th, but what's most likely to happen in this election cycle is your election is probably going to be decided in October. And the reason for that is the majority of your community now votes by mail, and most of the folks, many folks will have cast their ballots by the end of October. So while initially campaigns would focus on election day and would reach a crescendo on election day, today most campaign committees begin their efforts in earnest once ballots go out to voters, which is usually about 30 days before the actual election day. If the election is successful, then bonds will be sold and funds are available to implement the plan that the district has established to be able to continue to improve your school facilities and to also make you eligible for additional state funds. Maybe aware there's a statewide bond, a $10 million statewide bond on the ballot this November. And this district is eligible to receive those funds. You need a local match to be able to get those funds. But if the local bond is successful and the statewide bond is successful as well, the district will be able to bring some dollars back from Sacramento into Lancaster. This is kind of fancy. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know that's a lot of information. I want to start by complimenting the board and staff. You've been studying this for a while now. I've had some good questions along the way. The board, the staff has. You've done a very detailed plan, so you have identified what your needs are, what the funding is, and also you brought the concept of an election to the district in the past. But I think the board was pragmatic to wait for this unique opportunity to say, I only want to do the election to coincide when the old bonds are paid off, to be able to see the drop in tax rate. So we don't impact the tax rate to voters in our community. So I think it's a well thought out program. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have, or my colleagues over here happy to answer.
I have a question about the state match. So is that paid all in one lump sum when this bond is passed, or as we initiate different parts of the bond, do they just match those parts as we initiate them?
Guys, I can guess the answer, but I'd rather defer to Emilio Flores, who's with me, who has more expertise on it.
Good evening. To address your question, the way that the state program works is generally two buckets. One is the new construction bucket, one is modernization. And so new construction is based on the overall demand for additional students, usually brought up by development in the area. So as new houses get built, the state recognizes that school districts are unable to meet that need, or most likely unable to meet the house with additional students if there are no facilities available. So that's one bucket that's there. The other one's modernization. That's based on the age of facility. So even though there are many eras in which the buildings were constructed, each individual building or classroom is eligible on a life cycle, 20 to 25 years, depending on if it's a portable classroom or a permanent classroom. The district is required to submit an application for those programs. And in order to submit those applications, the district must complete two steps. One is the completion of a design, so a DSA approval of the design project, as well as project approval for California Department of Education. Once you garner those approvals, you're allowed to then submit the application to the state. It is then considered by the state on a date received order. So the sooner you're able to get that in. So for example, the board has taken the action forward a couple of projects in design in order to put themselves in line. That is the modernizations at Vista, Monte Vista, and Nancy Quarry. And in addition to that, there'll be projects as they come on board that will also be submitted for those applications as well. Once the application gets to the front of the line, it's reviewed, make sure it's in compliance. The state does a calculation based on the eligibility at the time of the review, and then issues out those grants on that basis. So even though the district has lots of eligibility for modernization currently, it's not until we're able to present those DSA approved plans and the applications are received by OPSC that's reviewed and reported there. So it will come in over time as we submit those applications on behalf of the district.
That answers my question.
Any other questions? Well, I for one would like to thank CFW for your asking us to procrastinate as we did. So we found that the bonds that we are going to look at will not raise taxes. Thank you very much for
Much for your time and your patience. I know, as Chris mentioned, this has been a long process. It's been a process that we look at every few years as the district's needs continue to rise. But like I said before, I think that we're gratuitous that we found this unique opportunity that the Board of Building Services, its facilities would support it without any additional burden on the taxpayers of the district.
Thank you. Thank you very much. On to item 11. And ask for a motion for the adoption of resolution 2024-25 one, ordering an election to authorize the issuance of a minimal obligation bond establishing specifications, the election order, requesting consolidation with other elections occurring on November 5th, 2024. Second. This requires a roll call vote.
And there are some,
Any discussion that would like to take place?
yes, we do have some comments, and so we'd like to bring up Gina Whipple, our town president.
As you all know, I don't prepare speeches for these things, but I do want to say that I support the bonds. I am happy that we did wait a long time. I know in 2012 we had small obstacles, but we got through it. I've had some conversations with Dr. Mariani, and I'm very happy to hear that projects are going to be prioritized based on need and need of students, staff, teachers in classrooms, not offices. So I just want to say that I do give my full support for that, and I appreciate all the work that everybody has done, from facilities to district office in going out and looking at where to make improvements and prioritize first.
And David, our state speaker.
Just thank you to the volunteers who presented on that, very informational. There's no better investment than in the well-being and development of our children to the highest capacity. It's our moral responsibility as well as our fiscal responsibility to ensure that their future is accounted for visibly through infrastructure that literally protects them from the weather or outside threats, as well as buildings that increase their ability to explore 21st century skills, which will sustain all of us in the future. Our students have incredible potential and ability. And supporting this bond proposal means our students' potential will be met with resources to support their gifts. As a community public servant, not only in education, but as the City of Palmdale Library Board President, I have constant insight into the development of our sister cities, Palmdale and Lancaster. Our area of LA County is the most rapidly growing due to job opportunities, land availability, and affordable housing. On the library board, we're always making recommendations to the city on development and expansion of public spaces like the library, which are more than just books, but a cultural hub for all. Our vision for the city and library in 20 years includes plans to expand and modernize our common spaces to meet the public's needs. When we vote on a bond like this as a community, we're voting in the best interest of the next generation of students, teachers, and administration. Lancaster School District has several sites, including mine, New Vista, that have been fortunate enough to receive grants as community schools. As we also shift our idea of what schools are and how we serve the public and what we provide, it makes sense to update our educational spaces to reflect the new roles and needs of our community schools, but most importantly, the needs of the people in those schools. As you heard about in the presentation, the update proposed directly impacts the services our district provides to students and families. The bond is a huge ask, but it shouldn't even be an ask when it comes to providing the best for our children. It's a no-brainer. So much work and assessment went into the development of the bond, and the money is all publicly accountable, transparent, and public information. a community leader, local educator, and as a parent of children from this school district, I urge the board to strongly support this initiative for a resolution for the bond election. It's one thing on the ballot that the community can all agree on, giving our kids the schools they deserve.
Thank you. And Cochran, our school resource officer.
On her bike.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Deputy Ledesma and Deputy Galecki. They are two of the three SROs that our school district currently has employed for safety.
Hello, first name is Abraham, last name Ledesma. As Ms. Cochran said, I'm assigned to the SRO program. So I would just advise you guys want to know a little bit of what our responsibility is, direct from the department. Our main responsibility as SRO is to protect the students and the staff from outside threats. That increasing in the country, the department wants to get ahead and have us there. So we're there immediately and we can protect as many lives as we can. A little bit else that we do on campus is try to connect with students. I do that on the daily. I go to every of my sites and during lunch, some lunch, 3 to 4 a day that I can make. I go out there, I speak to the students, I let them know what I do, who I am, a little bit of my life experience, and then try to gain the trust of the students. And that pays dividends in my line of work. It's been countless times that I'm working on the street and I have some students call me out just by my last name and come up and try to give me a hug. I tell them, hey, not right now. But in school, they come up and that right there just shows the connection is working. The students are seeing me outside of my uniform and they see me as somebody that wants to protect them. And then they ask me questions. So then I tell them, and that goes to the next step of how we're trying to prevent the next generation from committing crimes and joining gangs and doing all that stuff. I let them know on the daily who I deal with. Some experiences where I've seen some students that were 14, 15 now become adults and they're committing violent crimes and the outcomes. And hopefully that stirs them away from committing the crimes or joining gangs, because now they see me as somebody they trust, not telling them something out of a book. I'm telling them that I've seen with my own eyes. It would hurt me to see somebody that I've watched grow up and I protected to potentially kill somebody or get killed for doing something. And the kids are reacting great to that. I want to introduce my partner, Becky, and she'll be able to give you a little bit more on the questions that need to be answered.
Good evening. My name is Deputy Galecki, first name Christina. I'm assigned to the SRO unit. Just finished my first full year. I'm assigned to 1 middle school and 5 elementaries. So between the 3 of us, the partner has 2 middle schools, 5 elementary. Our other partner has 1 middle school and I think 5 or 6 elementary. Middle schools require a lot of our attention, so sometimes the elementaries we can't get on campus to be would like to. What I learned to keep is a pocket full of stickers. Our elementary, actually our middle school kids love these stickers. But this is a gateway to communicate with the kids. So my elementary kids, before they get a sticker, I got another first name and what their career goal is. So on the elementary campuses, a lot of times the interactions that the young ones have, the first positive experience with law enforcement. A lot of them have either never had an interaction with law enforcement or it's been bad. I can't tell you the number of times I walk on campus and have parents, say, hey, can you scare my kid? Or walk into an office and they'll hide behind their parent. That's we are here for their assistance. If they ever need us, them to feel comfortable to be able to call us. In the middle schools, we act more of like a mentor. We're not there for disciplinary reasons. That is all for the, the school head. I can't, I'm sure my partner can account for it too, but we have counseled and mentored, numerous kids when they are in trouble. We're not there to add, another layer of discipline. We're there to mentor them and let them know the reality of what can happen. We'll take some real life experiences, our patrol experiences, stuff in the community, and the reality of what could happen if you're an adult and we're also here for the support of the victims on campus, which include school admin and other students. School's got to be a safe place for everyone out there, admin and teachers and the kids as well. We also have a youth development program, which is instead of having the kids, if they do commit a crime, our report is wanted, we have the ability to refer them to a youth development program. This is based off of third parties that are contracted with the sheriff department, and it allows the kids a second opportunity. They're able to participate in therapy, service, that this third party will contact the family and see what resources does this family need to help the family as a whole, help the child in school, whether it's they need some after school activities to keep them out of trouble. They will assist with that. So we also have that ability to refer them instead of just writing a ticket and signing up to court where nothing is learned in that sense. I think that's oh my god. We have a script or anything like that. Just came over and kind of let you know what we do on the basis.
One more request, if I can say this, and this is coming from growing up and seeing law enforcement at my schools and being able to see what they do. And that's where I got my, to admire the profession and want to be somebody that helps out people in need. I want to be able to reach the elementary kids, the ones that really are happy to see me, not seeing me when I go to their house because something happened to their parents or they lose a loved one. If I can request, we can get just a little more help so I'm not tied to 7 schools, so I can interact with little ones, our next generation that are going to lead us. So then when I get older, they can protect me. That's the only request I have because they want to see me and I want to be there. Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very, very much.
I believe we have Dean Ford here.
Good evening. I'm Dean Forum, Director of Facilities for Lancaster School District. And in regards to bond, we're always needing to make improvements in our schools to be changing codes. Roofs, plumbing, heating and ventilation systems, gas lines, sewer lines, electrical lines, water lines, they break and they need repair. Many of them are as old as those schools. And you've got wiring in the ground that's 60 years old, it's been soaking in water for a while. The average age of our schools is 48 years. Some of our schools are over 60 years old. People don't realize that, but Lincoln School is 30 years old. I still think it's a new school, but it's 30 years old. The Vista is 29 years old. This summer, we put a new roof on Lincoln School, cost over $800,000. Day-to-day maintenance is easy, but big projects, it's hard to get the monies for those kinds of projects. And with bond, of course, we would have those kinds of monies. Let's fix our schools and let's make them work for another 60 years. Thank you.
or 100 years. Thank you. With that, I'll go through a roll call vote. Mr. T.
Aye.
Mrs. Mann. Mr. Giles. Carlson. Aye. Mr. Wynn votes aye. Passes. Thank you for all the speakers. We appreciate it. Well, I guess we can talk about each one. Move on to B, adoption resolution 2024-25 -2. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Lancaster School District determining the amount of a special tax fiscal year 2024-25 and Community Facilities District number 1004-4.
Second.
Well, Mr. Wynn, this is an annual resolution that comes along because Community Facilities District is a taxing agency. And if you recall, this Community Facilities District was formed in 2004. It was by the developer. And the developer owned all the property for the development. And it was easy to form a Community Facilities District because there was one vote, developer. And by forming the Community Facilities District, it then allowed the developer to pass along whatever fees would have been charged, developer fees, to a tax on the owners of the property. So you do one or the other. Either you impose developer fees, or if that one developer wants to form a community facilities district, they do that. Because it's a multi-year tax, like the state of California has the ability to every year raise your property tax no more than 2%, is one of the elements of the whole Proposition 13. And it's also true of the community facilities district. The tax can be increased up to 2% per year. So this new tax of 47.55 cents per square foot is an increase of 2% over last year's tax, which was 46.61 cents per square foot. So only the homes within the community facility district are the ones that pay these taxes. And of course, those homes never paid developer fees when they were originally built. So it's one or the other. This is the opportunity, the once per year opportunity to do the statutory.
Are there any other questions? None? Vote all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes? Passes 0. And then E, sorry, E, approval of change order number 1 with A&M Construction and Engineering for Sierra Elementary School parking pavement replacement. Motion?
This is the Sierra parking lot project, and we thought this was going to be a pretty quick little project. Turns out and unlike a lot of parking lot projects where we usually do crack bullets and slurry coat, this parking lot is well beyond that, completely replaced. In the process of lifting all the material up, it was noticed that when we drove any sort of large piece of machinery, it started to sink soil. And at first we thought, well, did somebody break a water line, an irrigation line or something? And that wasn't the case. So after much discussion, it was determined that the likely cause of this was further down in the soil. So these one of the unique features of the soil on the valley, hard pan or a clay surface. It was acting like a bowl holding the water. And so the determination was made is that in order to get a good foundation for new surface is that we had to excavate out the soil and put in some other features that would improve drainage over out from underneath the asphalt. And that's primarily what this change order reflects, is improving the base before the new material could go down. Because had we not done it, it would have just immediately cracked. We had to, and this was a situation undiscovered until we took off the top layer of material and noticed that there was far more water than what should be in the desert. So we chalk it up to just the hard clay material here in the desert, creating a bowl-shaped structure on that part. Are you talking the when they excavated away the dirt and brought in new dirt, or asphalt? Let me ask Dean, was this asphalt or concrete at Sierra? Dean's very familiar with this project. He spent a lot of time up there. So at Sierra, the parking lot, did they replace with asphalt or concrete?
Well, the original parking lot was asphalt. We are putting concrete in. It'll be a concrete parking lot. When we bid the project, we asked for the option of either asphalt or concrete. And concrete was not that much more expensive than the asphalt. And of course, concrete requires far less maintenance than asphalt, so we chose to go with concrete. But whether it's concrete or asphalt really has no bearing on the stability of the soil. To set any parking lot, you have to have a compacted surface. And if it is waterlogged or full of moisture, you can't get that compaction. So finding that condition, more soil was removed, which of course required more base to be brought in. And there was also matting installed below this base, just like you would see out on the freeway. You see those rolls of matting? Well, you have that matting under that parking lot.
I think the question was who provided the matting? Was A&M.
That's part of this change. A&M, it's $51,000. That's the additional base. Well, it's the additional removal of soil. It's the bringing in of new soil. It's the compacting of that soil. And then, of course, it is that matting that's placed in the entire area.
How thick is that geogrid that we put in?
I'm sorry.
How thick is the How thick is a geogrid?
GeoGrid, it's a heavy plastic matting. Looks kind of like tent fencing, but of course it's far heavier than that. And it's a grid. It extends over the entire parking.
Other questions?
This one, as we're redoing the parking lot, did you put any kind of niche so the water doesn't collect like that anymore, or it's just over time?
Well, we don't believe that it's a drainage condition. We think it's a soil retention. We think there's a clay base below it. But as far as drainage for that parking lot didn't drain very well because you had three parking lots there. You had the original asphalt, another asphalt surface, and another asphalt surface. So the curbs along the edge of the parking lot where you come into the school, where they used to be 6 inches high, they were like 1.5 inches high. Well, now that parking lot has been put in at its original elevation store, where you'll get the slope and drainage that it originated.
Thank you. Any other questions? None? Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Item D, change order 1 with Coast Construction for relocation of T3, T4. Those, questions?
Well, was an interesting project in that T3 and T4 at Amargosa were not ESA closed out projects. And we had a desire to close those projects out, make them final closeout safe. What we needed to have done is, this is a strange one, is ESA needed to inspect the foundation portals. So we literally just had to lift them up, allow them to inspect them, and we set them back down. And so we'd have a DSA inspector to go through the process. Well, in the process of picking them up, they looked underneath, and there was a lot of rot, wood rot and what. So, you know, at that point, why put it back down on a rotten foundation? We had to replace the foundations. But they could be a good solid foundation. So that's what this change order represents, is the undiscovered condition that once we lifted it up, we saw what.
We have quite a few classrooms, portables in our district. Right?
Lots of portables. Almost all of the ones that have students in them are DSA approved. And so there won't be unique situations like this. There are a few that have other issues, for instance, some ramp issues and rail issues. And we will be replacing ramps and rails. But I don't believe, Dean, if you know of another one, I don't think we have any other ones that we have to lift up and then set back down. I think this was like the last. But yes, we have many portables, and part of this modernization CFW work that they did is going to be demolishing some of those oldest portables. And a lot of the projects for building a dedicated music room and dedicated science classrooms. Campuses don't have this feature.
So now that T3 and 4 will be DSA.
Yes.
Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Item E, approval of change order 1 with Coast Construction Group for walkway cover repairs at Sunnydale Elementary.
Second. This is the, if you recall at Desert View during COVID, was an opportunity for us, while there were no students present, to replace those covered walkways. And that was a very involved, it's the most complicated of the 3 schools that needed covered walkways. Desert View, there's El Dorado, and Sunnydale. So we knew that we had approved plans for the Sunnydale covered walkways, and we knew that if the longer we wait, the more expensive it got. Sure enough, this project got. But the contractor has made amazingly fast progress on this project, far ahead of schedule. We've been exceptionally pleased. And there was an opportunity to correct one situation where if you have 2 concrete slabs that are poured at different times, unlike other concrete slabs, where you pour it all at once, you put down rebar that covers them. But if you have one concrete slab and later you put on another one, there's nothing that connects those 2 slabs together unless you specifically call drilling into the original slab, putting in basically like dowels or metal pins, and that creates a connection point to the new slab where you can connect the rebar to those dowels and pins. And this is an opportunity we had where That was not originally called out in the design or the plans. And as we looked at the progress that the contractor was making, we thought, this is a great chance. It's not going to set it back in terms of time, but it's going to create a better connection between those two concrete slabs. You won't have any cracking or differences in settling. So it was a great opportunity for us to improve this project.
Other question? That, call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And item F, approval of change order 2, circulating air, Inc. Mariposa Elementary School, HVAC replacement project. Moved. Else? Man.
And this is the third type of this very similar change order. We've already brought 2 related to other projects, and this had to do with our control systems associated. And I talked with you more about how some of our projects were kind of in between in terms of what we were designing and then what technology became capable of. So this is one of those ones where we designed it with a certain set of technology. By the time we went to actually do the work, there was something better out there. And this change order allows us to do this. New projects we're designing right now already have this built into it, so you won't see the change orders. But there's a couple projects, there might be 1 or 2 more that will come to you and say, here's another change order. It's associated with control systems that will improve our overall energy management.
That'll be important during the summer when we start school. Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye. Well, that was A, and the approval of district public information and communications officer.
Carla Estupinian. Estupinian. So moved.
Mr. Giles. And Ms. Mann.
Okay, so Carla has served over 8 years as a public servant for city and county politics. She has been in the public information business for the last 4 years in Madera County. She is a proud daughter of immigrant parents who have worked diligently in pursuit of providing their family the American dream. Raised in the local public school system, she is a first-born generation college graduate in political science and communications from CSU Long Beach and received her master's degree in public administration from CSU Dominguez Hills. Carla has worked to build and maintain community relationships because it's important for her to be the voice and ears of the people and focus in addressing barriers and advancing the quality of life of the people she serves. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, spending time with her family, church, and chickens.
Members of the board, I'm excited to be here with my family, my dad, and one of my mentors. I look forward to working with school district in Brooklyn. So thank you so much for this opportunity. And I'll be here for any questions on the information. I'll be out there, so you'll see me. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. We'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
I'm Marcelo Palacios at Fulton and Ellsbury.
Mr. Teepee, second by Mrs. Mann.
All right, so Marcelo has been in education for 37 years. He started teaching in the Lancaster School District for over a decade ago at Desert View and Amargosa Creek, and I work with him myself. He left for an administrative position elsewhere, but found his way back here 2 years ago and was granted the position of assistant principal at Miller Elementary. He attended UCLA, earned a bachelor's degree of science and biology, and received a teaching certificate. He earned his master's degree in educational administration from Cal State University, Bakersfield. In his spare time, he enjoys spending time with his wife, Betty, and family, watching movies, taking nature hikes, loves all food, and is an avid Dodger fan. Go Otani.
Only one mistake there, and that was a Dodger.
Well, good evening, board members and executive cabinet. I'm excited to go ahead and work in this capacity as principal of Missouri. I'm looking forward to working with the students, parents, school community, staff, able to go ahead and bring in the love of science. And I'm just looking forward to go ahead and make an impact in school. Bill 9, the science guy said, science is cool. And this agreement. So I look forward to working in this capacity.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. So that's okay.
I do have members of my family here.
Oh, please.
I have my wife, Betty. I have my kids, Christian and Danielle. I have our kids, Catherine and Nathan. I have my grandkids, Liam and Anastasia. I have my mother-in-law, Esperanza. And I have my mom, Greta. So just want to make sure that we're very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
But I think she's out with my son's girlfriend.
Here for ice cream. Man, good time.
That's good time.
Number C, the approval of a variable term waiver, the 24-25 school year for Jacqueline Zarate. Mr. Giles. Have anything to say? Variable term waivers?
These are just how we are getting the teachers approved who don't have full clear credentials yet. So many of our teaching staff is in that situation, and people in HR are scrambling every single day. Sure, we've got qualified teachers in positions. We're down to 5 teachers that are not filled right now. Oh, wait, no, 6. We just got one. But that is a Herculean effort, as Mr. Coleman, who's not here tonight, he's with his family, but has hired over 100 teachers for this school year, which puts my old record to shame.
Excellent. Excellent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Finally, the approval of provisional internship permit for 2024-2025 school year. And I won't read the names, but we have 7 additional.
They're in the same boat. It's just a different type of waiver.
All right. Motion by Ms. Right. I'll move to addressing the board. Individuals who wish to address the board may complete a speaker card and present it and supporting documents to the superintendent's assistant or other district official prior to the start of the meeting. Personal information such as student, parent, guardian's name, address, phone number, date of birth, email address, or other information as defined in Code 4906 can be excluded from the minutes of the meeting by submitting a written request to superintendent. Superintendent will recognize these individuals who wish to speak, present testimony to the board concerning specific items on the agenda. They do so once that item has been moved, seconded, and is on the floor for discussion. 5 minutes, 3 minutes per person, 20 minutes per item shall be allowed. Board members may ask questions for clarification purposes. However, no action may be taken and no discussion may take place on an item not on the posted. Comments from PTA? Thank you.
About 10 minutes from View Elementary PTA president. I just kind of wanted to address with you today. We'll be having a really special surprise for our students for the whole school. Thanks to PTA this 2024-2025. We managed to get an assembly for the whole entire school for David Hagerman. He's he deals with science, the science musician. So that will be coming hopefully in the month of March of 2025. And we're working on other things for our community and for our school. And next time we come back, I'll probably be accepting, PTA membership, so you guys can become PTA members. Only $8. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. The SEA? No?
I'll be brief. Still in full swing. I do want to just share that on behalf of the teachers, we are very excited about all the new administrators coming in, returning in a new role, some of them from outside the district, but I can tell you from the ones I've spoken to so far and what I've seen so far, I'm very excited about the challenges we're going to face together, and I'm really looking forward to a good, positive year. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but kudos to HR for only 5 teaching positions open. That's fantastic, much better than I was expecting. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, you have to give HR a little bit of credit for that.
Thank you. It was really the child's goal and the lion's share of it. Perfectly honest. No comments from the audience.
Right on to the
Next.
They always send out letters. Full donate. I just want to say, Jorge and Lauren, Garcia, very, very much welcome forward. We use them wisely. Those all in favor?
Aye.
Business item. Imply. Okay, Pamela Carlson. Not an item on here. Most of these I would say are for
Well, some of the consulting agreements deal specifically with project work that we're doing. It's Monte Vista, so that's item M and O and Q. And yeah, M and O. But some of it's closing out this year, and some of it's coming into the next year. Mix of different. Right, lots.
Need the shade structure at Kenwood, I'm sure that. Enough for
So let's see, we had a couple. Yes, Promise Academy, we constructed a new playground. Technically, we constructed it on the grounds of Lincoln. And we did it for DSA purposes again, because we've got some couple classrooms we're going to have issues with that Promise Academy. But Lincoln is a completely approved DSA campus, so we built that playground on their grounds because it's for some of our highest need populations. We also added the shade structure over it so that they can use it in the sun. So this notice of completion closes out the item U, the construction of the playground, and then item B, the shade structure that goes over.
I just want to ask the question about print scans. Will that now make it that we not have to pay for it? Oh, okay. Fingerprint scan.
Yeah, no, not all of them are paid for. Usually we pay for the volunteer fingerprint scans, but the new employees coming in are responsible for paying their own.
We're not asking.
No, the sites pick that up.
The high school doesn't charge. So wouldn't we? All right. Well, any other question? Agenda for educational services. All the, I know what's not
Writing material when you're really wanting. They're pretty simple.
all in favor.
Aye.
Then agenda item human resources. This is good.
So moved. No findings. So it's good.
Shout out to. In favor.
Aye.
Then agenda. Questions? We'll answer these questions. 6 crickets.
Six Crickets, yes, Six Crickets is a company that helps with attendance tracking. So it helps in. Am I right, Gary?
Also will help our families with fund facing site that will allow them to online register for our classes that are offered as yellow, and then also for Saturday classes. We're hoping to streamline a lot of our.
And there's a story behind the name, but I got an idea. That's you know why they call it Six Crickets, because 5 crickets wasn't enough and 7 crickets was too many.
It's your call. Have Greek philosophers up here.
I couldn't help it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I mean, 5-0.
Deputy.
Yeah. Let's give. There's any legislative.
There's not.
Start.
I think gentleman came out to speak about the bond. Very, very important thing for our district as well as our community and all the benefits that it's going to bring to our students as well. Grading our classrooms and all the money actually going into the classrooms to benefit the students. It's priceless. Thank you everyone that came in to speak in support of the bond and how important that is, as well as everyone's here and knowing that when those measures come up in November, really important. So vote yes. Congratulations to all our promoted staff and employees. The second, with Mr. Davis here, the Coleman's have worked very diligently in making sure that we have adequate staffing coverage, and that's extremely important. Other than that, nice to see you guys. And welcome back, Larry. It's here.
Well, there isn't a whole lot left, but thank you guys all for hanging out, and thank you for spending some of your summer break with us. And I guess we're welcoming everybody back to the campuses. I guess we got some principals on the campuses now, so things are starting moving forward, and hope everybody had a good break. And I guess we'll see PTA next week. I already did get an email from her saying, you know, my membership's expired, so I guess she'll be looking for me for next. I'll be ready. Kudos to HR for all the employees we need. And congratulations to all the new. Thank you.
Congratulations to Carla and Marcelo for their new positions. Excited for them to be. Congratulations to everybody that's in all their requests. Welcome back to them. Welcome back, Larry. Excited for the next year. I've heard that some principals are back and getting it, so I'm sure they're excited too. Bond measure, to pass it. We need it. Our schools need it, and kids need it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Teepee.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited about all the projects we have going on over the summer, and working on asphalt and playgrounds and shade structures, and really excited about the new bond measure that we can put that to the voters and modernize our schools even more, bringing in science rooms and music rooms that we need and things. So it's great. It's great to see everybody here and excited about the new people in their positions and all the teachers we have coming back. So great rest of your summer, everybody.
Thank you. Dr. Marinetti.
Just want to welcome all of our administrators back to our new school year. We're getting ready to get started. I want to acknowledge all the work that our extended learning program, our summer program has been doing. We still have kids and we're still working with children. Also our maintenance and operation workers who are out there getting our schools ready so that when we come to a full return that our classrooms are ready. Just want to also acknowledge Marcelo and Carla on their new positions. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just also welcome back to Dr. Freeze. Tina, welcome back from Italy. Mary, welcome back from Scotland, Ireland, Leon. The others? Everyone sounds like they've had a pretty good summer. The only school I worry about is Miller Elementary. We've taken Erie and brought her to the district. And now we have moved her assistant principal to the principal position at Fulton and Hallsbury. Erie, you've led your people well over at Miller, and I hope that they continue to follow in your fine tradition. I'm sure they'll do well. I'm sure they'll do well. Thank you. And looking forward to the bond vote on November 5th. It was interesting that he said that we'll probably know the results in October before November comes because of the early voting and vote by mail. So all I can say is that Gina, Kaylin, David, Tim, LA Sheriff Department, 2 deputies, 4, he was here. Thank you all for speaking up on behalf of the bond. We appreciate it. We have no reason to recess to close session. So I will ask for a motion for adjournment. All in favor? Aye. You know, we always get a 5-0 vote on that. Just right. 7:22.